Sometimes a senior's move happens because of a gradual decline, but other times it happens overnight. One unexpected event, one crisis, one hidden trigger, and suddenly the family has no choice but to move their loved one. And here's the thing, these triggers aren't rare. They're happening all the time in families across the Bay Area. Today, I'm going to share the most common hidden triggers that forces seniors to move, and more importantly, how you can plan ahead so you're not left scrambling in the middle of an emergency. Hi, I'm Corpus, a senior transition specialist and real estate expert based in the San Francisco Bay Area. And yes, I'm part of the sandwich generation. That means I'm raising my own kids while helping my aging parents plan for their future. I understand how overwhelming it is to juggle these responsibilities, and I've seen too many families blindsided by sudden events they never expected. This episode is going to help you prepare before you're forced into making rushed, emotional, and expensive decisions. Let's dive in. Linda from Pleasanton thought she had everything under control with her 85-year-old father. He lived alone, drove himself to the store, and even mowed his own lawn. Then one rainy night, he slipped in the driveway while taking out the trash. He broke his hip. Within hours, Linda was in the ER. Within days, she was meeting with rehab facilities. Within 2 weeks, it became clear that he could no longer live safely on his own. Linda told me I never thought it would happen so fast. I thought we had years. I wasn't ready. The truth is, most families aren't ready. Falls are the number one reason seniors end up in the hospital, and a major reason they can't return home. Hip fractures, wrist fractures, head injuries, shoulder dislocations. Once a senior experiences one serious fall, their mobility, confidence, and independence can decline rapidly. In the Bay Area, I've seen families spend tens of thousands on home modifications after a fall. Ramps, grab bars, walk-in tubs, only to realize their loved one still isn't safe living alone. Proactive step. If your parent already had one fall, don't ignore it. Treat it as a red flag and begin exploring safer living options now. It's not just falls. A hospitalization from a heart attack, stroke, or severe illness can set off a chain reaction that leads to a move. Hospitals often discharge seniors before they've fully recovered, and insurance may only cover a short rehab stay. Suddenly, the family is faced with either bringing in full-time caregivers or finding a senior living community fast. I worked with a family in San Mateo whose mom had a mild stroke. They thought she'd bounce back, but the stroke affected her balance and speech. Within a month, it was clear she needed daily help. They were touring assisted living communities they've never heard of before, under intense time pressure. Proactive step. Create a hospital discharge plan before you need it. Know your options for in-home care and local communities so you're not starting from scratch during a crisis. Sometimes the senior isn't the one who triggers the move. It's the family caregiver. I've seen adult children, often daughters or daughters-in-law, who pour everything into caregiving. They're doing the grocery shopping, driving to appointments, handling medications, managing the house, and they're exhausted. One woman in Fremont told me, I just can't do it anymore. I love my mom, but I'm falling apart. Burnout can show up as sleep problems, chronic stress, health issues of the caregiver, strained family relationships. When burnout hits, the family often reaches a breaking point and decides a move is necessary. Proactive step. Recognize burnout signs early and have respite care options ready. Whether it's short-term stays in assisted living, hiring part-time in-home help, or sharing responsibilities with other family members. The death of a spouse is devastating, and for many seniors, it's also the moment when living alone becomes unsustainable. I had a client in Danville whose father had been caring for his wife with dementia for years. When she passed away, he was suddenly alone in a big, quiet house. He stopped cooking, stopped socializing, and his health declined within months. Without the emotional and physical support of a spouse, everyday life can feel overwhelming for seniors. Proactive step: if your parent is widowed or loses their main support person, check in more frequently and consider whether a more supported living environment might help them thrive. Sometimes a move is triggered by finances. Rising property taxes, increased costs of in home care, or unexpected medical bills can make it financially impossible to stay in the current home. In the Bay Area, where in home care can easily exceed $10,000 per month for 24-hour coverage, I've seen families burn through savings quickly. Proactive step: review finances regularly, understand the costs of staying at home versus moving to a community, and know your options for selling the home, whether on the open market or in a faster as is sale to help fund care. Now that you know the common triggers, here's how to avoid being blindsided. 1. Have a housing transition conversation now. Don't wait for a crisis. 2. Tour communities early. It's easier to compare and choose when you're not under pressure. 3. Build a care team. This could include a senior transition specialist like me, a financial advisor, and trusted medical professionals. 4. Create an emergency plan. Decide who will make decisions, who will provide immediate support, and what resources you'll tap into. This is where I can make the biggest difference for families. I help you identify potential triggers before they happen, evaluate home safety and long-term suitability, connect you with vetted caregivers and community resources, provide real estate solutions to help fund the move, whether you need a fast as-is sale or a traditional market listing. Because when a crisis hits, it's not just about moving, it's about moving the right way with the least amount of stress possible. A move doesn't have to be the result of a heartbreaking emergency. By spotting these triggers early and planning ahead, you can make the transition on your terms, not because you're forced to. And before we wrap up, if you want even more tips and real family stories about senior transitions, check out my podcast, Simplify Senior Transitions. You can watch all episodes on YouTube and listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Just go to www.simplifyseniortransitions.com/podcast for all the links in one place. And for those of you watching, if your loved one is considering senior living and you need to figure out what to do with their home, let's talk. Schedule a free consultation with me by clicking on the Calendly link in the description box. Learn more about my services at www.simplifyseniortransitions.com. Have a quick question, DM me on Instagram at SoulByDale. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who might need this information. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next episode.